Welcome to Marketing Made Simple TV. My name is Jeff Ogden, the host of the show, and we're thrilled to have you back, and we have another great guest for you today, Don Peppers, the co-author of Extreme Trust. Don's new book is called Extreme Trust: Honesty is a Competitive Advantage. Don is recognized as one of the leading authorities on customer-focused relationship management strategies for business. And he's an acclaimed author and a founding partner of the Peppers and Rogers Group. We're going to talk about what is extreme trust, why is it so important today, and how you can use extreme trust in your business. So let's meet Don. Hi, Don. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Good to be here, Jeff. Thanks.
Glad to have you here. I'll start you off with a question that I ask every guest on the show, and it's a very simple question. Who are you and what do you do?
Well, I am an expert in the business of making the world safe for customers. That's kind of what Martha Rogers and I think of our mission in life. We're making the world safe for customers. And our latest book, Extreme Trust, basically argues that because of rising levels of interactivity, trust is going to become a more and more important aspect of every business-customer relationship.
Yeah, I think that trust is certainly becoming important. So why is extreme trust becoming so important? What changes are happening in the world, Don, that are driving the need for companies to take this approach?
Well, the primary change that's driving this need is the dramatic increase in technology, the technology of interactivity, particularly social media platforms and so forth. Technology is driven by something called Moore's Law. You've probably all heard of Moore's Law, named after Gordon Moore, one of the co-founders of Intel, who first realized more than several decades ago that the number of transistors you can squeeze onto a square inch of silicon doubles roughly every 18 to 24 months. Stated another way, computers get 1,000 times more powerful and quicker every 20 years. 1,000 times more computer power. That means there's more computer power in my iPhone than was available to the entire NASA organization that put a man on the moon back in 1969. Well, there's a corollary to Moore's Law, which we call Zuckerberg's Law. If computers get 1,000 times more powerful every 20 years, that means every 20 years you interact about 1,000 times as much with other people. All this interaction, one of the key elements of any interaction with another person is trust. Can I believe what he says? Is he biased? Is he objective? Is he accurate? Can I take what this person says at face value, or do I need to call my lawyer to do the checkup, do due diligence? So the more interactions we have, the more trust is going to be used as a kind of a filter of these interactions. And that's driving this increase in the importance of trust.
Now, a lot of companies have tried to make sure they were trustworthy. For many, many years, they wanted to be known as trusted. They did surveys and everything. But in the book, you say being trustworthy is no longer good enough, right? You need to have extreme trust. Why has the standard gone so much higher, Don?
Well, there are two elements in earning somebody's trust. Number one, you have to be able to do what you say you're going to do. You have to have confidence. So if you want your customer to trust you, then your product has to work. It can't break down all the time. You get delivery on time. And you've got to be reasonably confident to run your business. But also, customers look at your intentions. What's your intention? Is what you're telling me designed simply to get me to buy from you, or are you telling me something that's really in my interest? Are you acting in my interest or your interest? The more self-interested I think you are, the less I'm going to trust you. So I look at both your competence and your intention. Now, here's the issue. For decades, really, maybe a couple of centuries, during the whole Industrial Revolution, the only thing a business really needed to do was, be reasonably competent and not cheat or steal from customers. If you weren't an overt crook, customers basically could trust you. On the other hand, now, because we're interacting so much further, consumers are requiring a higher standard. They're asking you to be proactively trustworthy. So they're looking for a business that won't just refrain from cheating, but will actually help you prevent mistakes, avoid errors, even counsel you if you're buying too much. Let me give you a very, very simple example. If you try to go to Amazon and you try to buy a book that you already bought from them, before they sell you the book, they warn you. You already bought this book from Amazon. Do you want to buy it again? Now, if they didn't warn you, it wouldn't be untrustworthy of them. That is, they're not cheating you if they sell you a book you legitimately ordered, even if they know you're making a mistake. But because they suspect you're making a mistake, they proactively remind you of this. They suggest it might not be in your interest to buy this book. Are you remembering that you bought it before? That is an act of extreme trust, or what Martha and I call trustability. It's proactive trustworthiness. And the more companies do that, iTunes does that, JetBlue will do that, the more companies are proactively trustworthy, the more consumers are going to demand it of all companies. And this is part of a general rise in the standards by which consumers are judging companies.
Don, I saw those examples in the book, and those are good ones of companies being very proactive. Another idea you introduced in the book was the idea of being vulnerable. And you cited an example of Domino's Pizza and what they did. Can you share the story with the viewers here of the Domino's Pizza story and how they demonstrated vulnerability to earn high level of trust?
Sure, but let me preface it with a little bit with about why vulnerability is so important. You know, trust fundamentally is about showing a human side to another person. It's about having empathy. And anytime you're involved in a relationship with any person, whether it's a close friend, a lover, or a business, when you show some vulnerability, it immediately encourages the other person to be empathetic. Unfortunately, traditional marketing is the opposite. To the traditional brand marketer, showing any sign of something less than perfection for the brand would be thought of as a terrible faux pas. But in the age of interactivity, in this age of transparency that we live in, extending an arm of vulnerability, showing that you can make a mistake, admitting to it, and promising to do better, is something that's almost guaranteed to earn trust, and that's exactly what Domino's did. Domino's, for years, was thought of as the alternative to Pizza Hut. That is, if there was no good Pizza Hut around, you could order from Domino's because it was a second-class pizza, and they had a reputation as not very good pizza. Their cheese was a little prepackaged, almost felt like the crust wasn't very good. They did focus groups, and they found that was the verdict. So a new CEO took over and decided that what we need to do here with Domino's is we need to admit that we had a bad product. We admit that we have a bad product. And so they launched a TV campaign that says, look, we know that our pizza hasn't been as good as it ought to be. And they showed examples of people in focus groups saying, oh, this tastes like cardboard, you know, I mean, really almost comically negative things that some people were saying in real focus groups. They showed those clips. And they said, and then they came back on, they said, no, and we've decided to get better. We want to be better. We want to be authentic, and so we've done the recipe, we've done this, we've redone our processes, and we're launching this new pizza. You should try it because we think it's a lot better now. But we're still trying to improve, and we still need your suggestions, and we want your contributions.
Yeah, that's a great story, and I remember seeing about their billboard in Times Square with real-time tweets.
This was in the summer of 2011. What they did to carry this up to the next level. The summer of 2011, they rented a billboard in Times Square for a full month. It was like the end of July through the end of August. And they basically put up on the billboard live status updates and comments from pizza customers. Basically, Domino's brought online an information service so that when you order a pizza from Domino's, you can log in and see the status that your pizza is in, whether it's in the oven now, or it's just been removed, or it's in the truck on a car on the way to be delivered, whatever. You can see your status. You can also leave comments about the service. If they didn't leave a bill, or they didn't leave the right receipt, or the pizza was delicious, or it wasn't what I ordered, or what. And all these comments, honest comments, which were both positive and negative, were scrolled down a billboard in Times Square for the view of millions of people. It was an extreme display of extreme transparency.
Yeah, that was a great story. Now, one thing, you and Martha Rogers are pioneers in this one-to-one marketing idea, and this kind of morphed into CRM. What does CRM have to do with trust?
Well, Martha and I have always said that trust is important, and of course, trust has always been important to every business. It's no secret. You want your customer to trust you. In a relationship with a customer, the relationship that's created by technology, where you're interacting with a customer, you're using a database to treat that customer different from other customers, sort of all the CRM activities that you undertake, which creates the relationship with the customer. A successful relationship breeds familiarity and trust. The more you engage in a relationship with any person or company, the more you're likely to trust what that company says the next time, because relationships build up a context over time. So trust has always been central to the idea of being customer-centric or customer-focused. It's always been about getting customers to trust you and acting in the interest of customers. We've talked about that for 20 years now. It's only with the rise of social media, however, and the tremendous increase in the level of transparency. Today, it's a lot more expensive to keep a secret. Things that used to be inexpensive to hide are now very costly to hide. It's very difficult to keep something secret. And that means anything that anybody can know, everyone can know in the near future. And so fundamentally what's happened is this transparency, it's acting like a disinfectant for business. It's disinfecting all these businesses. There's lots of business models out there that are based on businesses knowing something that the customers don't know, and that's how we make the profit. Whether it's we know what the fee is and you don't know when we hit the fee, or we know what the best calling plan is, but if you're on the wrong plan, if you're paying us too much, we're not going to tell you. Why would we tell you? I mean, it's your mistake. So there are a lot of business models that are based on having more information than the customer has. And these business models are now endangered because of this level of transparency. And it all comes down to, you could think of extreme trust as extreme CRM, really.
Interesting. It's an interesting concept, and I certainly agree with you that the world we live in now with social media and instant communications worldwide really means you can't keep a secret.
Like a disinfectant. Like, I said it's like a disinfectant cleans things up, but guess what? It's going to sting like hell also. Okay? It hurts. And that's the way a business really ought to think about this rising level of transparency. It's like we're pouring methylate over the whole business. Every wound is going to get cleaned, but boy, it's going to sting.
You're absolutely right. Good. Now, we've got viewers on this show that are watching you right now, Don, and saying, this is interesting idea. I want to do something like this in my business. How do you recommend people get started in implementing extreme trust in their own business?
Well, the easiest way to think about extreme trust is to think about it as the sort of the ultimate form of empathy with your customer. If you were the customer, how would you like to be treated? I'll give you an example. Let's suppose that you're a subscription service. Consumers sign up for your subscription, they give you their credit card, and every month or every quarter or maybe once a year, they re-sign up. Now, they sign up for automatic renewal. But if you were a customer, wouldn't you like to get reminded that your card is about to get dinged again before if you're the business, you might think, gee, I hope these customers forget, because some of the customers are going to just forget, and we're going to get to keep charging them, charging them. But if you're the customer, you want somebody to watch out for you. So I'll give you an example. Jackie Lawson cards. If you go to jackielawson.com and order greeting cards, you can sign up for a special one-year subscription. It's like, I don't know, $14, $15. But before they renew your card, they send you a notice. They send you an email. Don't forget, on August 12th, we're going to renew your annual subscription. It's $14.99. Do you still want it? That's such a counterintuitive idea. Now, think about this, because fundamentally what Jackie Lawson is doing is they're probably giving up a lot of revenue that they could have had. Because theoretically, there are probably some percentage of customers out there that forgot that they were subscribed to Jackie Lawson, didn't know that it was on an annual renewal, that maybe didn't intend originally to be on automatic renewal. There are lots of reasons why a customer is going to say, no, I don't want to subscribe again. They're going to lose some revenue from that. But what are they gaining? They're gaining a couple things. Number one, they're gaining their customers' trust. So customers are going to talk about them. Customers are going to trust it. Boy, if Jackie Lawson recommends it, I'm going to do it. Like if Amazon recommends something, it's in my interest. If USAA, the insurance company, if they recommend something to me, they're acting as if they're always putting themselves in my position. So I'm going to want to do more business with these companies, not less. So that's what they're gaining. They're also gaining something else. Every employee at jackielawson.com or at USAA or at Amazon, they all know that our mission is to act in the customer's interest. And so it becomes a lot easier to have a culture that is united around this doing right by the customer attribute. And it becomes a much more competitive business going into this highly transparent future. So, you asked me the question, what should I do if I'm a viewer, I'm watching Don Peppers now, and he's talking all about extreme trust. But what does that mean for my business? Well, think about all the times when you make money through a customer's mistake. Do you ever make money from a customer's mistake? Because if you do, that's an opportunity. There's an opportunity to create a service or product that generates trust. Okay, let me give you a quick example. I'm a Comcast customer. This is coming to you via a Comcast internet cable. Now, Comcast is not a bad company. They're a big cable operator. They got their own problems, and Lord knows they've had service problems, but they've wrestled with them really hard. Some of you know that they hired a guy named Frank Eliason. He's no longer there, but he set up something called Comcast Cares. They use Twitter. They try to spot complaints in advance. They do a lot of really good customer service. Their heart is in the right place at Comcast. They want to be more customer friendly. So not long ago, about a month ago, 2 months ago, there was a storm in our area, and my service got knocked out. And so the internet wasn't working, and boy, I really needed to do some stuff. It was a Sunday evening, and I couldn't get stuff done. And so I called them up, and they said, "Yeah, we've got a service outage in your area. We think we'll be up by midnight or maybe shortly after." So anyway, I went to bed. And the next morning, yeah, they were up. But the next day, what I did was I called Comcast, just because I'm that kind of guy. I'm the kind of customer you don't want to have. I'm a very particular customer. I called Comcast and I said, "Can I get a refund for the 1 day of service I didn't have? I'm paying you $60, $70 a month. Can I get a refund for that?" And they said, "Oh yes, sir, Mr. Peppers. We saw our records show that you were in the area that had the outage, so we're going to give you a credit." Now the credit's only $1 or $2, right? So it was the principal of it. Then I said to Comcast, "Now let me ask you something. You know which houses had the outage. It's on your records. So are you giving everybody a refund? And the guy said, no, no, only those who ask. Well, there is an opportunity to generate extreme trust. Imagine getting a letter from a company like Comcast saying, hey, on April 3rd, our service was out for 7 hours. We're sorry if it caused any inconvenience in your household. Here's a refund on your bill. We're gonna credit you for the time that we were out. Maybe it's a $1.25 credit. It could be anything. Now, the truth is, for a company like Comcast, there are thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars per month at stake in this, and it is going to hit the bottom line. But think of the tremendous statement it makes for customers. Don't you think customers are going to take what Comcast says at its word from then on? That's another example of how to do it. So look for mistakes your customers likely to make on their own. Look for oversights that they may not think to ask for a refund or whatever. Do things like that. That's how you become extremely trustworthy. Trustable, really. What we call trustability.
Good stuff, Don. I like that Comcast example of being proactive and not waiting for people to ask for a refund to send out refund checks. And certainly opening up the mail and seeing a check that you never asked for would certainly drive a lot of trust. It's been great talking to you on the show. Tell us a little bit more about how the viewers learn about the book and the company Peppers & Rogers, which you are part of.
Sure. Well, our book, Extreme Trust, it just came out about 2 months ago. You can get it on Amazon, or you can go to extremetrustbook.com. Of course, if you order it there, you're ordering it through Amazon. We're very happy with the book. It's probably one of our best books since the very first one he wrote, The One-to-One Future, 20 years ago. The Peppers & Rogers Group is a management consulting firm, and our job, our business, we're not a large company. We're fewer than 200 people, but we have offices around the world, and we have clients, a lot of clients in telecom, in financial services, in retail. We have some healthcare clients in the U.S. and other categories of clients. Our clients primarily want to do right by their customers. They're companies that hire us to come in and help them figure out how to be more customer-centric, how to be more trustworthy, how to be more customer-focused, how to improve their service or reduce their complaints or improve their customer retention. Those are all in our company's sweet spot. You can come to peppersandrogers.com and learn all about our business, or come to our media website, which is one-to-one.com. That's numeral 1, letter T-O, numeral 1.com. www.one-to-one.com, and we have thousands of pages of advice, an academic journal that we put out every quarter, and other free stuff that you can get to help you start your own journey toward customer centricity.
Great stuff, Don. Thank you. It's been great having you on the show.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks a lot. It's great.